Now listen, it is very clear that just gauging the Sakamoto Days community, the twins are not everybody's favorite villain when it comes to these final battles. But not for nothing, I think the brother is slowly starting to make up for it. Because the girl with the Gatling gun, while she's fun and exciting and it's a weapon that we haven't gotten before, it really seems like the aura machine is going to come from this guy over here. As soon as the chapter begins, two characters, Natsuki Shiba and Amane, immediately compare this guy to order level characters. Even Gaku gets brought up in this moment, where the girl may just be sub order level, which to be honest is probably where most of the characters in this JCC unit maybe get to. Mafuyu was not doing very well at all against a character like Osaragi. However, that was of course a 1v1. Having all of these characters going up against only two, sure, that might actually end up being an interesting battle. But not for nothing, it's not looking good at all, because even as the chapter begins, this one character is just basically low diffing all of these JCC students. Torimaru, Amane, you've got Mafuyu. This guy is easily capable of keeping up with every single one of them, to the point that not only is he easily just casually grabbing both of their weapons and tossing them out of the way, he's already setting up a counterattack for a character that he shouldn't even really know is already coming for him. His instincts are definitely up to par, and he is successfully dispatching Natsuki's invisibility suit without breaking his sweat, both above ground and also underwater, just through small tells. This guy is able to hear Natsuki move even though he's invisible, and then underwater he's able to see Natsuki based off of his air bubbles, which shows his level of perception is insane, to the point that even Kaji, the guy who has like his superhuman hearing, is calling him a freak. Kaji even goes as far as to say this guy's heart rate doesn't even change while in battle, which I think is interesting because it's a complete contrast to how he speaks and presents himself. Because right in that moment when Kaji's like, this guy is just casually taking this battle, he's not even phased by anything. His heart rate's not going up, his blood pressure isn't increasing. It's almost as if he's just lazing around like normal. But yet he says, oh, I'm always so scared. No matter how hard you train, the threat of death is always there. First of all, the JCC students ask him, why even bother being an assassin if that is the case? It's so funny because clearly what is being set up here is he is the prodigy, right? Where she is the loudmouth that gets herself into major fights and always causes trouble for the older brother, to the point where he probably doesn't want to be an assassin, but she is the one that constantly gets into fights, constantly wants to be an assassin. And very clearly, if he let his sister go off on her own, she'd be helpless. Because sure, you could say that she's definitely a really strong assassin herself. There's no doubt about that. She was at least able to graduate from KKK. I can't believe still to this day that that is the anagram that we went with. Just unfortunately very hysterical for me. But either way, she has, for one, gotten herself into the major fight in the JCC where if he wasn't there to save her brother, she would have completely lost and got tied up and been disposed of very quickly. And now we see her try to involve herself in the fight once again, and she ends up sending herself crash landing through the roof and into a pool where she is just at the mercy of everybody, since apparently she can't swim. And the one thing that I will say is that even though I know the twins aren't everybody's favorite, the moment that everybody is in the water and Natsuki is ready to start piecing up the sister, and this guy just slowly floats down into the pool with his weapon, you could feel the aura just coming off of the page when it came to that. The way he just so gracefully descended down into the pool and like in an instant went, oh, air bubbles. There he is, baseball pitch throws and super smash launches Natsuki out of the water entirely, grabbing his sister and saving her. She can't even open her eyes underwater. So even if you want to say that the sister is a very strong contender, she is clearly not the major threat. The person that makes up for her lower level skills is obviously the brother, which it's a cool dynamic, right? You have, the younger sibling that gets themselves in the fights and their older sibling has to constantly save them from it. The difference is contrasting that with the siblings of Natsuki and Mafuyu. While it's obviously, older brother, younger brother, the older brother wants to do things to protect the younger brother. At the end of the day, both Mafuyu and Natsuki are their own people entirely. They're able to exist separately on their own. Mafuyu does have very decent assassin skills. We've seen that in the JCC arc and going forward into the other arcs as well. Torimaru was also an exceptional threat against Shin back in the JCC arc. And Natsuki, we know, with the invisibility cloak and all of his other engineering dynamics, he is also a strong threat. So I think that is most likely what is going to get these students the win against this dynamic duo. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel. Together, they are clearly the strongest that they can ever be. But if they're able to separate the brother and the sister, they might actually have a really good chance of winning, even though the brother is a major order level threat. Like I said, Mafuyu, Natsuki, Torimaru, Kaji, Amane, all of these characters separated on their own have very strong powers and are able to hold themselves on their own in a fight. You may not be able to say the same thing for these two. Honestly, killing the sister might awaken some crazy kind of bloodlust in the brother that makes him just go no holds barred and just start piecing up everybody in the vicinity. This is one of those bosses in like an RPG or like Dark Souls or like Wukong almost, where you have two bosses in the same fight, 2 health bars, and whoever you kill first is going to end up inadvertently powering up the other. Although, again, just based off of the fight skills that we have seen from both of these characters, I think Yuto Suzuki has made it very clear that the brother is the bigger threat than everybody else. And you know what? After the chapter we got with Lou and Granny Mio needing to be saved by Heisuke, and just the descent of Kumanomi's character since her introduction, I mean, golly. Everybody is always coming after Gege Akutami for the misogyny allegations, but somebody needs to start throwing that shade at Yuto Suzuki, because what is going on here? Obviously, it's all jokes. I'm not taking it that seriously, but it is kind of funny how this girl does look kind of like Lou. I don't know if Yuto Suzuki has just something against these types of characters, but he is just going out of his way to make sure that they are not the ones in the major fights and everybody else is, picking up the slack for them. Don't know what the message here is on that point, and I'm sorry that we have to end the message on such a weird note, but honestly, I have to say that this is definitely, I can understand why the hype surrounding Heisuke's last battle wasn't really here for, this moment, because not only are the JCC students, while they're all great characters, I don't think they're anybody's major favorite. And again, with the brother being the heavy hitter and the younger sibling sister just being the comedic relief that gets the older brother into trouble, I don't know how well that will hold up compared to some of the other fights that we have had foreshadowed so far. I mean, not for nothing, remember, like, Nagumo is currently fighting Oki. We have Shishiba being set up to fight Gozu. We have Osuragi, who is supposedly going to be getting into a fight. I was hoping that that fight would have been against Kumanomi, but it does make sense that Heisuke would need to get his revenge against Sho. I just feel like there are so many more interesting battles that we are going to be getting to. And while I'm definitely excited to see where this goes, because I think Yuto Suzuki specifically took a break to reconvene with his editors, get an idea, and I feel like that does tend to happen when Yuto Suzuki just lets the pen get away from him. Sometimes his editors need to reel him back in and say, all right, take a week, focus on where you want to go, and take it from there. Because I think this chapter shows much more of the competent dynamic of the twins than the previous chapters. But guys, let me know what you are all thinking in the comments below. Maybe I'm alone in my opinion, but I have definitely noticed the drop in hype when it came to the twins showing up. I'm interested to see what all of the comments say. And do not forget that if you're looking for any other types of content like Kagurabachi, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Gachi Akuta Chainsaw Man, or Dandadan, definitely feel free to check out this channel. There's reviews every week and other series and videos that definitely come with that, such as even on my main channel, like how far would Toji get in Sakamoto days, or, you know, having a great moments and all the different fights highlighted. There's so many different things that you can check out if you're looking for content, so don't be scared to take a look for them. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.